So we have studied how to find out number of significant figures and how to round off a particular mathematical result. Now, when we are dealing with arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, then we have also to follow the rules of significant figures to make our result more and more accurate. What are these rules? So we have to follow certain rules so that our final result after mathematical manipulation contains an accurate result with the least amount of error. First rule, if we are having sum or differences of two numbers, so if we are adding two numbers or having subtraction of two numbers, then the rule to be followed, the final result should be containing the same number of decimal places as that of original number with minimum number of the decimal places. So when we are adding the two numbers or subtracting the two numbers, then we have to look out for that number which contains minimum number of the decimal places. So when the final result is to be expressed after difference or addition, the final result must also contain the same number of decimal places as there were in that number which were containing minimum number of decimal places. When we are having product or quotient of two numbers, when we are dividing two numbers or multiplying, then the final result should be containing the same number of significant figures as that of original number but with minimum number of significant figures. So if we are multiplying the two numbers, then the final result must contain the same number of significant figures as it was having the number of significant figures, least number of significant figures in one of the two given numbers. Remember, while addition subtraction we have to look out for the number of decimal places, but in product or quotient we have to look out for the significant figures. An example, we are having an example that we are trying to add 7.21, 12.41 and 0.0028. So when we are adding, the result we are getting is 19.3538. So result is expressed up to 4 decimal places, but according to the rule, the final result should contain same number of decimal places as equal to the one of the original number which has least number of decimal places. So out of these three digits, 7.21 is the number which contains least number of decimal places 2. 12.141 is expressed to 3 decimal places, 0.0028 is expressed up to 4 decimal places. So 7.21 is the only number which is expressed up to 2 decimal places. So we are have to follow 7.21. So this result has to be expressed up to only 2 decimal places. So this means that we have to keep our result only up to 5. That means we are removing these two parts, these two digits. So the digit which is removed after 5 is 3. 3 is less than 5. There will not be any change in this digit 5. So the final result will be 19.35. Similarly, if we are subtracting 4.27153 from 6.807, result is 2.53547. This number is expressed up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places. This result number is expressed up to 3 decimal places. So this is the number with the minimum number of decimal places. So result must also be expressed up to 3 decimal places. That means the result should be up to 3rd decimal place up over here. That means we are removing 4 and 7. Digit to be removed is 4, less than 5. There won't be any change in 5. So final result will be 2.535. So in this way, while addition or subtraction, we have to look out for our final result which must contain same number of decimal places which is equal to the one of the original number with the minimum number of decimal places. Now 2 examples, one of multiplication and one division. We are multiplying 75.5, 125.2 and 0.51. So after the multiplication we are getting the result 4820.826. So our result contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 significant figures. But according to the rule of multiplication or division, the final result must contain same number of significant figures as there are minimum significant figures in one of the multiplying or dividing digits. So if we look at these three digits, this contain 3 significant figures, this contain 4 significant figures, this contains only 2 significant figures. So this is the number with the least number of significant figures, that is only 2. That means this result must also be expressed up to 2 significant figures. So by following that rule, when the result is rounded off, our product result comes out to be equal to 4800. That means we have to round it off to nearest value which contains only 2 significant figures. So 4820.826, when it will be rounded off to its nearest number which contains only 2 significant figures is only 4800. Similarly, when we are dividing 52.7814 by 458.2, we are getting the result 0.115192928885. Again, this digit contain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 significant figures. This contain 1, 2, 3, 4 significant figures. That means result must be expressed up to 4 significant figures. That is 1, 2, 3 and 4. This much. So when we are expressing the final result up to 4 significant figures, that means we are removing these numbers. The number to be dropped is 9. 9 is greater than 5. So preceding digit has to be increased by 1. So this 1 will be becoming 2. So final result will be 0.1152. So in this way, by following the rules of rounding off and significant figures, we can express our final result after addition, subtraction, multiplication or division with greater accuracy. Now, an important topic, accuracy and precision. What is the difference between accuracy and precision? When a particular measurement is repeated, we do not get the same result because each result is subjected to some kind of experimental error, and this imperfection in the measurement we can describe in 2 ways, accuracy or precision. When we are in the lab performing some experiment, we are asked to perform the same experiment or the same procedure to find a particular value many times. Why the same steps are repeated again and again, why the same value is repeated again and again many times? That is because we want to decrease the error in our measurement and we want to increase not only the accuracy but also the precision. So what is the difference between accuracy and precision? Accuracy: if the observed or the measured value of a physical quantity lies very close to the true or the actual value, then the measurement will be accurate. What is observed or measured value? The value which is observed or measured by us with the help of some measuring device is called observed or measured value. True value or actual value is the value of a physical quantity without any kind of error. The true value or actual value in practice cannot be measured. Reason: because every kind of measuring instrument contain certain kind of error, so true or actual value cannot be measured. So when we are trying to find out the accuracy, if our observed or measured value is very close to the actual value, then it will be said to be an accurate value. For example, suppose we take that true length of a pencil is 6.35 centimeter. So if two students measure the length of the same pencil, one comes out with value 6.50 and other comes out with value 6.15 centimeter, then we see that 6.50 is much more closer to 6.35. So 6.50 will be more accurate than 6.15. This accuracy can be improved by removing errors or reducing the errors from the measurements. Next is precision. When we are taking the observation of the same quantity again and again, we are repeating the experiment, then we get a set of observations for the same physical quantity. So if we compare all those observations of the same physical quantity taken, then if we find that these observations are very close to each other, then they will said to be precise. So what is precision? If the measured values of the same physical quantity, they are very close to each other, they lie very close to each other, they will said to be precise. But if they are not close to each other, they will not be precise in nature. For example, two students measure the physical quantity and they express their result as 3.35, 3.33, 3.29. Other student measure it as 3.35, 3.21 and 3.41. So if we compare these observations with these three observations, we come across the result that these three, the difference in the 3.35, 3.33 and 3.29 is much smaller. That means these observations are much closer to each other. But these observations, they have a wide difference among them. So these observations are not precise, but these observations are more precise as compared to these ones. Remember, accuracy and precision, they are two different things. The observed value can be accurate but not precise, or other way around, it can be precise but not accurate. We want to find out the value which is both accurate as well as the precise in nature. Precision depends upon the least count of measuring instrument, which is also called the resolution of measuring instrument. Resolution means up to which decimal place the given measuring instrument can express its result. A simple scale can express it up to first decimal place up to 1/10 of a place. Vernier caliper can express up to second decimal place up to 1/100th of a place, while a screw gauge can express up to third decimal place or 1/1000th of a place. So as the least count is decreasing, the resolution of the instrument increases, so precision also increases. So that's why smaller the least count, more will be the precision. So in order to understand the difference between accuracy and precision, we have an observation table where three students have measured the same mass 3 times each, and they have expressed their result in this table. We suppose that the true mass of the object which was measured by these three students was 0.520 gram. This is the true value of the mass. If we look at the values taken by student A, B and C, then we have to see which of the values are of student A, B, C are accurate as well as precise. First we compare the resolution of the measurement. You can see that student A is expressing its result only up to 2 decimal places, but B and C, they are expressing their result up to third decimal place. That means the accuracy of student A is only up to 1/10 of a 1/100th of a place, while that of student B and C is up to 1/1000th of a place. So student B and C, they are using a measuring instrument which has a least count expressible up to third decimal place, but student A is doing for only up to second decimal place. This means that the value observed by student A, they are not precise. Although they are very close to each other, they are not precise. Second, they are also not accurate. Why? Actual mass is 0.520 gram. So it has 3 significant figures. Their average mass is only 0.51 gram. Third significant figure is missing, far away from the actual value. No accuracy, no precision. Now come across B and C. Student B is expressing result as 0.516, 0.15, 0.515, 0.514. All the 3 observations are very close to each other. Average value 0.515 gram. C is measuring the values as 5.521, 0.520, 0.520. They are also very close to each other. So values taken by B and C, they are precise. But if we take the average value of C, it is 0.520. This is the mass measured by the C. This is the mass measured by B. So we can see that the average mass measured by the student C is same as that of the true mass of the body. But there is a small difference of the average mass measured by B and the actual mass of the body. So student B has precise values, but not the accurate result. Student C not only has the precise values but also has the accurate result. So we must try to follow the rules of significant figures and rounding off so that our result is not only accurate in nature but is also precise in nature. Next, error in the measurement. What is an error? Normally speaking, error is a mistake. Whenever we are trying to measure anything, and due to our negligence or some fault associated with the experimental setup, or some problem with the law or the rule with the help of which we are measuring a physical quantity, we are not able to measure the actual value of physical quantity, but observed value and the actual value, they have small difference. Then that small difference is called as error. So error is the difference of true value and observed value. Remember, some books write it as true value minus observed value, but in some books it is written as observed value minus true value. When we are dealing with error, we are taking only the magnitude of the difference. We are talking about only the magnitude of the difference. We have no concern with the minus sign or the plus sign, because we are just finding out how far away is our observed value as compared to the true value. So positive and the negative sign while measuring the error is not considered. Now there are different types of the errors. First is constant error. The error which is affecting each observation in the same amount is called as a constant error. They are due to the faulty calibration of the instrument. For example, suppose a vernier clipper has a zero error of 0.02 centimeter, due to which it always measured the value 0.02 centimeter more than the actual value. This means that when this type of vernier caliper will be used to measure length, breadth or the depth of an object, the observed value will always be 0.02 centimeter more than the actual value. So this 0.02 centimeter factor will always be present. So that value is remaining constant. So this is called as a constant error. Next, systematic errors. The errors which tends to occur in one direction, either positive or negative, they are called as the systematic error. They cannot be eliminated by knowing the rule or the law which governs them. So they are following some rules or the law. If we are able to know the rule or law due to which they are coming into our measurement, we can eliminate them. The systematic errors are further classified into few types. One is called instrumental error. Instrumental error arises due to a defect of the instrument. For example, zero error in the vernier clipper or veering of the edge of the meter scale. We know that when vernier clipper is to be used, when we close the two jaws of the vernier clipper, the zero of the main scale must coincide with the zero of the vernier scale. If the two zeros are not coinciding, instrument is defective, so it will be called as an instrumental error. Sometimes the zero mark present on the meter scale veers off after the use, so it is again going to cause an error in the measurement, that is instrumental error. So it can be detected by measuring the same quantity with the two different instruments of the same type or by two different methods. Imperfection in experimental technique. It arises due to the limitation of the experimental arrangements. That means the setup which we are using to measure a particular physical quantity. For example, calorimeter. Well, we are using the calorimeter which is working on the law of conservation of energy. Heat lost by hot body equal to heat gained by the cold body. There must not be any loss of energy into the surrounding, but we know that there is some loss of energy due to the radiation process, due to conduction process, due to the convection process. So because these kinds of energy losses cannot be removed 100%, so this is a limitation of our experimental arrangement which is going to cause error. When we measure the weight of a body in air, air also provides some buoyant force. Again, there will be an error in the measurement. So these kinds of limitations in the experimental arrangements, they provide error which is called imperfection in the experimental technique. So these errors, they cannot be removed, but necessary corrections can be applied and they can be reduced. Only reduced, cannot be removed. Personal error. It arises due to individual's bias, carelessness in taking the observation, or lack of the proper setting of the apparatus. Personal error, it varies from person to person. It is due to the carelessness of a person, due to the biasing nature of the person, or due to the lack of proper understanding of the use of the apparatus or the rule with the help of which we have to make a particular measurement. For example, parallax error. These types of error can be removed if the measurements are repeated by a different person or by a trained individual. Due to external causes, due to change in the conditions of the atmosphere, errors can be arriving in the measurement. For example, when we use scales to measure the different dimensions, length, breadth or thickness, a change in the season can bring a change in the length of the scale. Expansion of scale takes place during summertime, contraction takes place in winter time, so there will be a difference in the length measured. Increase in temperature while performing Ohm's law experiment, again can cause an error in the measurement. So these can be minimized by controlling the external conditions. Random errors. These are the errors which are occurring irregularly at random in magnitude as well as in direction. That means they are totally irregular in nature. They occur randomly. Their magnitude and direction, it can change. It can occur at any time. We may or we may not come to know that these types of error have crept into our observation. So their cause is not known. Because their cause is not known, the problem is not known, that's why they cannot be removed from the measurement. So all the errors which we have seen till now before random error, we can find the cause of these errors, we can remove them. But random errors, because their cause is not known to us, so we can also not remove them. Next, least count error. Least count error arises due to the least count of the measuring instrument. For example, least count of vernier caliper is 0.01 centimeter. So any measurement done may yield different value of the last decimal place. Just like in the beginning, we have seen that vernier caliper can yield result like 2.56 centimeter, 2.57 centimeter, 2.53 centimeter. So 2 and 5 they are repeating, but the last digit is not repeating. This means that this last digit which is present at second decimal place, which is also the resolution of the least count of the vernier caliper, which is also up to second decimal place. So these kinds of error due to the least count of the vernier caliper, where the digit present at the same decimal place as that of least count, they can change, so we call it as the least count error. Gross errors or mistake, they are occurred due to carelessness of the person or improper adjustment of the apparatus. No correction can be applied for such kind of gross errors. So these were the few of the errors which occur in our observations, and once the cause is known, we can remove them. Thank you.